Hello and welcome back to a new episode of our worst weapons run in Ultimate General Civil War. Today we are going to fight the Battle of Stones River, and our soldiers have organized in the 1st, 2nd and 3rd Corps. Every corps can only bring 20 brigades. And I have to admit, the armament of our army has reached a new low. In our 1st Corps we have Scales and Garnett with the Springfield M1842 and Hexamer with the Reboard Farmer, while the rest of our soldiers carry the Palmetto M1842. They're also going to bring a battery of 6-pounder field guns, as well as 2 batteries of 10-pounder ordnances and a battery of 12-pounder howitzers. Last but not least, this corps has 2 units of sharp snipers. And with that, our 1st Corps is the best armed of all of our men. In our 2nd Corps, the men are almost exclusively armed with the Springfield M1842. The only difference is Bidwell, who has been issued the Farmer. They are also going to bring a battery of 6-pounder field guns, as well as 2 batteries of 12-pounder howitzers and 2 batteries of 10-pounder ordnances. Last but not least, they have a unit of hunter snipers. And the trend continues. Our 3rd Corps is also exclusively armed with the Springfield M1842, with the exception of Whitaker, who has the Reboard Farmer. They bring 2 batteries of 6-pounder field guns, 2 batteries of 10-pounder ordnances and 1 battery of 12-pounder howitzers. Within our 4th Corps we have all of the units that we can't bring, and to make sure that they are not sucking up all of our crappy equipment, they have been issued the Harper's Ferry M1855 as a placeholder. You might have noticed that our brigades are not as strong as they usually are, and that we still have 12,000 men left, but I've decided to not reinforce our brigades to the absolute maximum. Because if we bring as many soldiers to the field as possible, the Confederates are going to do the same, and their soldiers are going to carry quality equipment. And this could have an absolutely devastating effect on our lines. And if you take a look into the armory, you can see that we have used up all of the Farmers, Reboard Farmers and Springfield M1842s, but that there are still over 1,823 Palmetto M1842s left in stock. Within our skirmishing equipment we still have 97 hunting rifles that I was unable to give out. And so far nothing has changed with our artillery. We still only have 6-pounder field guns, 12-pounder howitzers and 10-pounder ordnances. To make sure that we can get as many of our brave soldiers back as possible, I've invested another career point into medicine, bringing us up to an 18% unit restore. At the beginning of this battle, we are going to be under attack from the Confederates. And I want our 3rd Corps to be on our right, while our 2nd Corps is going to guard our left flank. Our 1st Corps is going to come in as a reserve to make sure that we have fresh quality troops for the counterattack. And as you can see, the Confederate army numbers in total 81,800 soldiers and 204 artillery pieces, while we have over 90,400 soldiers and 270 guns. We hold the numerical superiority on paper, but still we are going to be outnumbered for a large portion of this fight. We are marching from Nashville on our mission to meet and destroy General Bragg's army. Securing the small town of Murfreesboro will not only have a strong symbolic impact on the Confederates, but will allow us to march further south and gain greater territorial control of Tennessee. Bragg is obviously not willing to allow us to march further onto Tennessee soil. He waits for us at the bank of Stones River. A frontal attack would be suicidal. It would be wiser to reinforce our left and advance. If we take the heights west of town, we can flank and push the Confederates south. Our cavalry is patrolling the area, and tomorrow we will know if the ground is suitable for an attack. Another viable option is to attack their left, but we don't know how many rebels guard the area. We are now establishing our headquarters at Nashville Pike. Tomorrow morning we will be ready to decide the best action. General, while our soldiers are having their breakfast, the rebels decided to attack first. Enemy infantry is advancing towards our right flank. Watch our center, it might be a decoy action and they are planning to attack us here. As the battle begins, we are immediately going to abandon this position. As you can see, the rebels attack us with their entire force. They are bringing over 50,000 soldiers to the battlefield while we only have 23,000 men available, meaning that we would completely overstretch if we try to hold this ground. We are immediately going to relocate our soldiers into a defensive position around here and over here, and we are going to have one brigade and some skirmishers holding this area to make sure that we cannot easily get outflanked. Our artillery is also going to set up a strong point, and I want to get Stark back if possible, but for the moment we need to reinforce the area. We are going to send 2 brigades further on this wing to make sure that we cannot get outflanked this easily. Upton is over here, Stark is going to be a reserve. I want Garnett to move up as a reserve over here between our 6-pounders and 10-pounders. And we got more 10-pounders to defend. I'm going to send more 10-pounders over here. These elite 6-pounders are going to protect our sides over here. Morrison on the double, the enemy is already trying to outflank us. These 10-pounders are setting up. Gentlemen on the double. Seymour, I want you in this gap down here while Scales needs to spread out a little bit further. Your skirmishers are also going to rush up to try to help our defense. And it looks like these units are actually from our first corps that I wanted to save up. Well, it's better to have them than not to have them. Over here, we need to get Sherman back, otherwise his flank would be exposed. We have Seymour in the area. I want him to move down here as a last reserve that we could either use on this section or on this section. And we are now heavily getting contested by enemy skirmishers and cavalry in the south. Over here we are luckily able to drive away some of the enemy skirmishers. These 10-pounder ordnances I want to set up over here. Scale skirmishers and Seymour skirmishers, you need to deal with Wharton. Seymour's force is marching down. Morrison, get on Buford. Scales is almost at place. Very good. And I have the feeling that I have accidentally ordered a unit away from this front line. Let's get Garnett down. And down here we are getting attacked by the enemy main force. 10-pounders, I want you to open up on these boys from Tennessee. The same goes with these 10-pounders. These 6-pounders should be strong enough to deal with those enemy skirmishers. 10-pounders also focus fire on the enemy. Down here we have enemy artillery out in the open. So far we cannot see enemy forces. And we are now ordered to withdraw further. Bragg had the guts to attack us ferociously to our right. There is no point in defending this position anymore. It is advised to rally your forces on this hill near Wilkinson's Road and hold as much as you can. It feels like the new phase started a little bit early, potentially because we were willing to lose so much ground early on. And we can immediately order Sweeney to fall back. We cannot attack those enemy guns. We have enemies in our presence. Let's figure out what we can do over here. I want Garfield further in cover. Carroll needs to hold, Wagner needs to hold, and Tribune needs to get ready as a reserve. We have Davies supplies over here. Let's get them down. And we have Hardin's supplies that I'm going to order down here. So far our lines are holding, and I wonder if we should withdraw or if we should try to hold it. We are now receiving more reinforcements. Let's get Brooks, Hexamer and Hunt over here to plug this hole in our center, and let's get Mahone over on this side. We're now also receiving some elite 10-pounders. Let's get them over here. And let's try to deal as much damage as possible before we withdraw from this section. But it feels like we are overstretching our lines unnecessarily. Down here, these 6-pounders need to withdraw behind our main line. Page, move up over here. Blumer, move a little bit behind. I do not know why these 6-pounders were suddenly in front of our lines. Maybe Hoffman got repelled. Maybe they just entered the field in a weird way. And we hear the very first charge of this battle. Where is it coming from? I can't see it. At least not yet. It might come from over here. We have multiple enemy brigades setting up. Brook skirmishers, I want you... No, your skirmishers can be attached. It's better if we order all of our boys to double time it. And I also think we might have to abandon these positions just to make sure our northern flank holds. Sweeney is getting beaten up. And we see more enemy forces coming up. We should be able to repel them. Once this unit got repelled, we are trying to prepare our withdrawal. Can we get our 10-pounders in the meantime on the enemy artillery, if we can see it? We cannot. Okay, let's order these 10-pounders to fire into the rear of the advancing enemy. We have enemy cavalry in our rear. Hunt, you need to deal with that. And over here, these 10-pounders can start targeting Barrett. This might alleviate some of the pressure. Oh yeah, down here we are under immense pressure. Let's try to get our 10-pounders back first. And then we are slowly going to follow up. Garnet and Scales, you can fall back already. We are going to leave those skirmishers behind. These 6-pounders, you're going to shift further to this location. Jones, I want you to wheel around. Sweeney is not going to hold out for long. Scales skirmishers can so far get reattached. How is this situation looking? We are battling enemy cavalry, at least if we can get them in range. Hunt, you're going to stay here. Seamer, open up on water. 6-pounders, open up on these boys if you can. Morrison, you now need to fall back. And I think Upton and Stark and Sherman need to build up a secondary line. We are most likely going to lose this ground, and then we at least have a point to rally our boys behind. Our skirmishing screen over here can also fall back. Over here we are still holding. And we have to hold this position for at least 2 hours. And we are now ordered to defend Nashville Pike. General, the rebels are starting to surround us. It is strongly advised to withdraw and take defensive positions at our headquarters on Nashville Pike. The rebels must not cut our escape route, which is controlled by this section of the Nashville Pike, because our whole army can be trapped and lost. I have quickly given out a couple orders, organizing the forces to our north, and down here we can see that the enemy is pushing rapidly. Our 10-pounders over here have been ordered north. Let's get these guys ready. We are about to lose our flank down here. Come on, sir, get in position. As soon as this line holds, the rest of our boys are going to fall back and we are going to withdraw further. The plan is to actually consolidate this line over here, or if necessary to withdraw further. Let's get these guys reordered and on the double. And we can see that Seymour is falling back under catastrophic casualties, but we were able to rout these enemies. Very good. Morrison, you can now also fall back and do that on the double. We have our secondary line set up. Our 6-pounders were also able to withdraw, and down here Jones is withdrawing. Multiple enemies are out in the open. We have Hexamer and Brooks in the area to support. These 10-pounders can now open up on the enemy out in the open. It does not seem like their fire support on the enemy artillery line did a whole lot of damage. Let's now try to get those men further into the region. Let's also get these 10-pounders and 6-pounders back. And these 6-pounders. Let's not forget those 6-pounders. Morrison, you're going to rush back. We are going to have another defensive line over here. Let's try to get our boys out. Sherman and Upton are unfortunately going to take a lot of casualties as they try to cover our retreat. Over here our artillery line is setting up, and I want them to focus fire on this particular brigade. Down here the withdrawal of our soldiers into defensive ground has worked out. But unfortunately I forgot our artillery behind our lines. Let's fix that quickly. Let's get Griffin over there in defensive ground. And as long as we are able to slowly withdraw without losing too much of our cohesion, we should be in the clear. Jones, you also need to fall back. We now see a massive amount of movement on our flank. Our 10-pounders are beginning their work. And I want these men further up here. Let's order Sherman and Upton to fall back. The rest of our boys have already made it behind our lines. We have our next line over here. Enemy skirmishers are coming up. They should be greeted by a hail of bullets. Yep, this is this unit routed for the moment. Unfortunately not destroyed, and we have more experienced enemy forces coming up over here. 6-pounders over here also withdraw. And we can see that the enemy is beginning with their push, and enemy cavalry is coming up on our sides. We desperately need more soldiers up there. Let's get these men ready. We are going to move them on this side. This should allow us to get out of the enemy fire relatively easily. These men are going to relocate, but please in a more sensible way. Well, I think it's fine. The enemy is not attacking us at the moment at this section. Let's get our artillery up as well. And if we are lucky, this is going to avoid total disaster. Upton, switch around. Open up. You're going to leave your skirmishers behind. They are going to finish off this unit of skirmishers. And over here we are already under big pressure. Garfield is holding, but the question is how long he can do that. Our 10-pounders are doing a good job. Let's order them to target enemy flanks. More of our artillery is coming up. We have Hunt over here, we have Jones over here. Let's order them up. We had enemy cavalry in our rear, but it looks like they have disappeared for the moment. And down here these skirmishers are miraculously still on the field. So far we are dealing quite a good amount of damage with the enemy. And I'm tempted to rush some people out to get on the enemy flank, but so far I think we are good where we are. We can see that the enemy numbers are dropping and that we haven't taken too many casualties as of right now. And we can see that the enemy is preparing a massive force on our flank. Let's get the next stage of our withdrawal going. We are going to set up a new defensive line over here. I'm also going to pick a couple of our artillery pieces, of our 10-pounders and 6-pounders, to set them up behind them. Let's also make sure that our supplies are not going to be left behind and forgotten. And it looks like Upton skirmishers were able to finish their job. Another group of skirmishers was just annihilated. And we need to get these men organize something like that, I think. Let's hope we are not accidentally opening gaps. It is kinda hard to see at the moment. We can see that more of the enemy forces are coming along, and I ideally want our soldiers in cover wherever possible. We see that more enemy forces are coming up over here. Our 10-pounders are apparently shifting to target them. Many of our soldiers are already exhausted. More 10-pounders are coming up. 10-pounders are coming up over here. I want 6-pounders in our center and 6-pounders over on this wing. This should allow us to stop any enemy counterattack, at least for a short while. Over here, Morrison skirmishers. I want you to move some of your guys over here. The same goes with Edwards. We need to make sure we're not getting outflanked. And the enemy is beginning with a big push. Garfield, hold your ground, hold your ground, hold your ground. Do not shift and open your flank. I want Stark to plug this small gap in our line, and Blume is going to be good where he is standing. 6-pounders set up. And let's hope we are going to survive this. Carroll is dealing a good amount of damage, but he's also taking quite a lot of casualties. Mahone and Hunt, can you get forward? The brigade from Tennessee are already quite exhausted. They have already taken some casualties. We might be able to drive the enemy away from this section. Down here we have some issues with unit cohesion. Let's get the men ordered in a line. Order them to double time it, and let's get a Nagel back. Also, we're going to get our general closer to the front line. And we need to be careful if the enemy tries to attack this exposed gap. Gibson, you're going to push forward. So far, ammunition is looking good. And the enemy is taking quite a few casualties. Hunt, open up over there. Jones, you're going to move up behind Wagner in case he gets repelled. Garnett, you're going to move up over here. It looks like Carroll got routed. Sweeney's also under immense pressure, but so far he is holding quite well. Garfield is able to open up on the flank over there. 10-pounders and 6-pounders are opening up. Very good. This should be this unit dealt with. And it looks like the enemy is now trying to get around our flank. Shermer got routed. Nagel, I want you to move up over here just to extend our flank. Shermer, you are going to rest behind those lines. 270 casualties, only 64 casualties dealt. Over here the enemy is holding. I'm sure they're preparing for something big. But we will have to work with what we get. Blume and Hexamer, I think it is now the right point for you to withdraw as well. Over here we need to redraw our line to make sure that we cannot easily get flanked. These 10-pounders need to move back. Garfield, you need to get back into a better position. Sweeney, you can get forward just a little bit. I do not like how any of our lines are looking, but it is all I can do at the moment. The next option to set up a defensive line would actually be our main objective, but I don't really want to do that. Braxton, you are going to get down here. Price is under pressure. Let's also get some 12-pounders forward. These 10-pounders are doing a good job. Price needs to hold. I think it's better to keep him in the forest and not in any of those defenses. Let's also get Griffin up. Griffin on the double. Braxton on the double. We have over here a unit under Cardwell in reserve, and we have some snipers. Let's also get them forward. Well, the thing I'm missing at the moment are our shafts. They could now really be useful, but so far we do not have any. Stark, you're going to fall back behind our main line. And it looks like we are actually able to hold. Let's give all of these units the hold command so that they're not easily opening up any avenue for the enemy to attack from. And over here I want our artillery to prepare for the bombardment on the enemy. Our 10 pounders and 6 pounders are getting ready. Over here Nagel is almost in position. Our skirmishers are opening up on the flank of those advancing forces. And it looks like over here a unit from Tennessee is preparing for another push. Let's order our 10 pounders to shoot that push into smithereens. Down here Price is bleeding. Can we get Griffin forward on the flank of the enemy? I also want our hunters forward on the flank of the enemy. We have spotted for a brief moment a unit over there. Seymour, you're going to make sure that our flank is protected. But so far we are holding relatively well. Morrison and Edwards are able to open up on the flank of those soldiers. This is very good. Our artillery is doing a good job on those guys. And so far it looks like the Confederates are willing to keep their distance. It looks like these boys are now trying to get on our side. So let's get Garnett and Hunt to wheel around. Seymour, you're going to get over there. We are going to definitely cause a lot of casualties over here. More enemy forces are trying to charge us out. Let's order our artillery to focus fire on them. Devastating volley on Garnett. But we are repaying that in kind. Hunt, you are in very good condition. Let's charge you in. Garnett is going to deliver fire support. The same goes with Seymour. With that we should be able to drive away this unit with relative ease. The front line of the enemy is now edging closer. This unit is getting repelled. This unit is getting flanked. Let's order our guys to hold their ground. And let's order these 10 pounders to switch their target on this elite unit. Or better even, target the enemy supply chain. If we can get those supplies out, we might be able to stop the enemy from really hurting us. Hunt, you now need to shift down. Ornos, you're getting rear flanked by the almost broken enemy. This is not a good position to be in. We have routed them once more. Seymour, get forward. Hunt, you are ordered behind our line so that you can recover slightly. How are our hunters dealing? They need to push up. They were so far unable to defeat the enemy. Price has taken over 400 casualties. Let's order him to fall back. Braxton is going to replace him. Let's get those hunters back for a moment. And it looks like slowly the numbers are evening out. Brigadier General Patrick Mahone is wounded. Our first officer casualty, at least the first that I noticed. Nagel, can you get forward, overtake Edward's skirmishers and then get the flank of those boys? Over here, these 6 pounders are able to get those enemies. These 10 pounders are getting those boys. Very good. These 10 pounders, I also want them to focus on these guys. Mahone is bleeding now. Can we get Seymour skirmishers on the flank of those guys? That would be good. We have more enemies over here. Therefore, I'm not committing Seymour, otherwise our flank would be completely exposed. Hunters, can you get those guys from Mississippi, please? Or better, prepare and then you're going to push them back. Seymour skirmishers are pushing up. They are now on the enemy flank. We see enemy soldiers trying to charge. Let's once more order our 10 pounders to deal with that. as it looks like they want to get Seamus skirmishers. Very nice, we have 2 Confederate units that are withdrawing at the moment. We need to hold for 27 more minutes. And there is the charging enemy. Let's get Seamus boys back. And we now have a bigger problem at hand. We have enemies that are trying to get on our sides, and our soldiers want to move in not the most sensible way. Let's quickly fix that. 6 pounders, shift target. 10 pounders, also shift target. Down here we are still holding. Enemy supplies apparently survived, or they got fresh ones up. Let's get these 10 pounders to focus fire on this unit down here. It is an experienced unit. It is therefore also excellent target practice. And I have the feeling that we need to get Stark closer to the front line. He might be needed very soon. More enemies are charging in this area. Artillery is needed. I'm going to get some 12 pounders down. Garnett, hold your ground. Mahone, hold your ground. Seymour, hold your ground. Hunt, get ready behind our lines. Or not. The enemy is over here and is willing to commit forces. Hunter snipers, you're going to push forward. You're then going to be in the rear of the enemy. We could, in theory, get the soldiers over here closer to the river crossing. We could potentially deal a few more casualties. But our soldiers are so poorly equipped that I believe the additional protection from the forest is necessary to keep our line from surviving. We have some trouble on this flank. Can we get our skirmishers to wheel a little bit so that we can more effectively get on the flank of those boys? We can see that there is still a lot of movement. Our 6 pounders are doing an amazing job. Our 10 pounders are also extremely effective. It wouldn't surprise me if our artillery is going to be the star of this battle. And still, I am missing our valuable Sharps snipers. They would really be very beneficial at this moment. More enemies falling back over here. More enemies are reshifting. So far our lines are holding remarkably well. Gentlemen, focus your fire on this experienced unit. We can see that the enemy pulled up their artillery line. So far no one is willing to charge us out. Can we get our 10 pounders for a brief moment to focus on Scott's artillery? That might be very good for us. But before our artillery barrage could begin, this first stage of the battle is over, and the new year finds us entrenched. We have now fallen back to our headquarters, and we can see that the Confederate numbers have shrunken down to 69,000 soldiers and 204 artillery pieces. On our side we still have over 84,900 soldiers and 269 guns left, meaning that we were successful in limiting our casualties. But unfortunately now we are going to be attacked from all sides, and we have lost all of the ground to maneuver, meaning that our casualties might now rise rapidly. General, National Pike must be held at all costs if we want to claim victory today. Bragg probably knows that in the next days we will receive strong reinforcements, and maybe he is anxious to attack us before they arrive. We have trenches covering the whole surrounding area, so we are well protected. Yesterday we have extended our flank along this field on the opposite side of the river in order to observe enemy movements. Watch for rebels, they could attempt to attack us here. We expect the Confederate attack from southwest. From south. And southeast. Good luck, General. Okay, we have a lot of movement within our lines. I'm not sure if we can keep our soldiers like that. For the moment, I'm not going to touch it and hope it is going to be fine. Over here we have our little forward position. We are going to hold on for it for a little while. After that, I'm pretty sure we will have to withdraw. Down here, our Iron Brigade is going to hold this defensive line. These sharp snipers are going to make sure that our flank over here is going to be very well protected. We know that the enemy is coming up from all of these sides, and how is the situation over here looking? Enemy skirmishers are trying to test our defenses. Let's get Meat's skirmishers into this forest. And let's also get our sharps forward to find the target. Enemy cavalry is in the area. Whittaker, I want you further in our defensive line. Get behind Kirk. You're going to replace him in case that he has to withdraw. And we can see that a massive amount of soldiers is rushing towards our lines. We have some 12 pounders over here that I'm going to send down. We have 10 pounders that are setting up. We have 10 pounders and 6 pounders over here. We are quite well set up. But unfortunately, if our line breaks once and we will have to fall back, it is more than likely our line is gone for good. Just like these skirmishers that have now ceased to exist. 6 pounders, get ready on those boys. 12 pounders, you can start shelling whoever you like. With these 6 pounders, get ready over here. 10 pounders, 12 pounders over here. Shoot down. Up north, our sharps are dealing with some enemy skirmishers. Can we also get Iverson's boys down? Yes, we can. If we can delay the enemy for a little while, that is going to help. After that, we will have to fall back first to this location and then to this side of the river. Down here we have a brigade from Alabama that is currently getting shelled and unwilling to attack. In general, the Confederate attack is setting up and currently not pushing to their maximum capacity. 10 pounders, can you focus fire on these 970 soldiers? Maybe we can break them rather quickly. Sharps open up on the exposed flank of those forces. Our skirmishers are battling the enemy skirmishers. And we can see that multiple brigades are coming up. They are roughly the same strength as our forces, but they are far better equipped. More enemy forces are coming up on our flank. We have Mahone who is out of cover. Let's get him down. We might need help down here soon. These 10 pounders I'm also going to move down. I'm also going to send Hunt over here. Unfortunately, those skirmishers are still a pain in our side. Otherwise, I could have established an ambush over here. We have 3 brigades on this side. Let's just hope this is all going to work out good. 12 pounders, open up over here. The 6 pounders also open up on the target in front of you. These 12 pounders can focus fire on these boys. These 10 pounders I also want to switch target. Over here we were successful in routing an enemy unit. Let's order these 6 pounders closer to the field. So far we are holding. Kirk is now taking more and more casualties. But this unit's numbers are now dropping. They should also get hit by artillery. And it looks like the enemy has already arrived on our flank. I do not know how this was possible. There shouldn't be a crossing over here, or maybe they have flanked us through the woods. Okay, I believe it is now time to withdraw these soldiers. There's not really a point in prolonging the inevitable, especially if the enemy is already on this side. They could flank us. Everyone on the double who isn't already running. Over here, these sharps need to open up. These boys need to get ready. Hunt, move forward over here. We have a secondary defensive line that should be able to provide fire support. Over here we have routed an enemy unit that tried to break through our lines. Over here we have enemies directly in front of us. 6-pounders, deal with them please. Penrose, where are you moving to? Get back inside. Lieutenant Colonel Timothy Kirk is wounded. Kirk is down to 500 soldiers. He is going to withdraw now. Whittaker, take his place. Penrose, set up behind him. Over here our flank is not looking too hot. Upton's flank is exposed. It is most likely going to be exploited. Our sharps are withdrawing. Let's order them behind our lines. But for the moment we were able to stop an enemy breakthrough. Iverson, you're going to set up behind our lines. These sharps are doing a good job. Upton is now wavering. He is going to fall back. And we can see that over here our line is currently holding. Whittaker unfortunately is not. Whittaker had to fall back. We have Penrose over here. Penrose has the Springfield M1842 and he is taking massive amounts of fire. We have Morrison and Stark behind them, as well as Hunton. So I think we might be able to stop that. And break through. These 6-pounders need to shift their fire. Edwards is now about to be driven out. Brewster is falling back. Upton, get ready. These 12-pounder howitzers need to set up fire. 10-pounders open fire over here. These 12-pounders open fire over here. We have Mahone and Hunt in our reserve. Upton, fall back. You're going to set up behind these 6-pounders. To our north, we have enemy skirmishers on our side. Let's get Meade's boys forward. Let's order our boys to hold. Price is taking massive casualties. Not much we can do about it at the moment. Let's order our sharps to engage the enemy. Over here we were successful in holding back the first attack wave of the enemy. Jones unfortunately fell back. Let's order him forward and let's order these 12-pounders and 6-pounders back just a little bit to buy some time. We're not going to get back into this defensive position. I think it is far too easy to exploit. Morrison, get forward. We are getting driven away slowly but firmly from our ground. Some of our guns are out of ammo. That, of course, sets the question, where is our ammo? It appears our ammunition is gone. It should be there. We had multiple supply trains full yesterday, but none of them are there anymore. This is a problem. Major General Alex McHenry is killed. This is another major problem. Penrose is falling back. We now have enemies in our defensive line. Morrison, hold your ground. Hunton on the double. The 6-pounders are falling back. Whittaker, move forward. Lieutenant Colonel Kite is wounded. And now our boys are just beginning to fall. Stark is getting flanked. He has to fall back. And we need to get those 10-pounders back as well. We do not have that much space to maneuver, meaning that one unit falling back could easily cause problems for the entire force. Iverson, get forward into the breach. And over here we are sending some boys out in the desperate hope that we can outflank the enemy. Jones, can I get you in front of those 12-pounder howitzers? Down here we have problems holding our ground, or at least establishing some ground to fight on. Every unit that is freshly arriving or that is withdrawing for just a moment makes sure that other units are moving. Bidwell, I want you in cover, if somehow possible, and we are slowly getting driven away from these positions. Sharps, open up over here. Can we establish a defensive line, please? Currently our problem is not necessarily that we lack the numbers to hold, it is just that we cannot get them on the field where they are needed. We have found enemy artillery. Hoffman, move forward. Brooks and Hexamer move onto that enemy flank. I'm also going to order Braxton out of his cover. How is the situation over here looking? So far we are holding back the enemy. Our sharp snipers got repelled. Let's get Mead's skirmishers to reattach. And the enemy is charging our lines. I want these boys to fall back now. Down here, Whittaker's taken over 400 casualties while only dealing 100 kills to the enemy. Our 10-pounders and 6-pounders are in the immediate danger. And the Confederates are now securing Nashville Pike East. This is not good. We are on the other side able to hunt down some artillery pieces and hopefully therefore get some peace and quiet on this flank. And we are now ordering our soldiers to counterattack. We are slowly getting driven away from here further and further. And it feels like half of our officer corps is either killed or wounded. Let's get these boys down. The enemy is shifting more forces over. These sharps I want to withdraw to this section. Maybe they're able to exploit an enemy flank. And at this point I just don't know what I'm supposed to do. Every time I want to order a unit forward, other units just give up their positions as they try to reshuffle. We at least have this flank going for us. Let's send the boys forward. Hoffman is able to battle Darden. Very good. The enemy is sending forces over, meaning that we at least are able to distract them. Let's get more boys out. Brooks, open fire over here. Hexamer, open fire over here. And what do we have in reserve over here? We have Penrose and Kirk. Let's just order them. Let's order these guys forward. Kirk, you're going to stop. Whittaker, you're also going to stop. 10-pounders, open fire over here. Hexamer is charging an enemy because General Hardy is in front of him and it is apparently too hard to just shoot him down his high horse. Let's now commit to that charge. And let's get more forces down. This brigade is going to be routed and is going to waver. Down here we are at least able to hurt some of the artillery line. Sherman, open fire. Morrison, open fire. We are now getting torn to bits in this absolutely gunner. Iverson and Price have arrived on the enemy flank. Let's order them forward. Over here we are somewhat holding. Let's get these sharps over here. Sherman, I hope you are able to hold. Jones is coming up. McHenry is down to 900 soldiers. He lost over 500 men already and dealt barely any damage. Hexamer is now withdrawing. Garfield is setting up. Over here I want Hoffman to continue to hunt enemy artillery. Maybe he's going to be successful, maybe not. Garfield is getting torn to bits. 700 casualties within a few volleys. I don't think he was even able to get a single shot out. Bidwell, move forward. Wagner and Brewster, you're going to prepare behind our lines. We have a charge over here that we were able to repel. Iverson is getting flanked. Let's shift him around. Those snipers need to deliver support over here. The same goes with those snipers. Caldwell, you are going to prepare to push up. Hunt, you're going to push up. Upton, you need to get down. Major General Ryan Sillers killed. It was looking so promising on day one, but now we are back in the meat grinder. Our officers are bleeding out. Let's get Hexamer and Wagner forward. Over here, these skirmishers need to get closer to those artillery pieces. Brigadier General Jimmy Iverson is wounded. Hoffman, I want you to march straight through Humphrey. Get them in a melee. And over here, our flank is not looking good. Iverson is getting flanked. Not much that he can do about it. This unit at least should be broken almost immediately. And once again, we have a massive hole gaping in our lines. Can we get Stark forward? We only have 34 minutes left to hold, and we need to control this position by the end of that timer, otherwise we have officially failed. Over here we try to outflank the enemy. Let's get Garfield over on those artillery pieces if we can click them. Come on. Down here Hoffman is in a melee. He is going to be targeted by 3 different batteries, but in the meantime we are hopefully able to work through the enemy lines. There's actually not much that we can do. We can only order our boys forward as the Confederates are teaming through our lines. Iverson is repelled. Price is down to 960 soldiers. Our Sharps are doing as much as they can to hold back the enemy. Our Iron Brigade is also bleeding. Let's get Burnside forward on the double. Let's get Meade down here. We do not have supplies. I do not know where they are. I do not know where they went. This is the most frustrating bit. We could be able to hold so much if we just had supplies. And they just disappeared overnight. Luckily we can report on some good developments over here. Garfield, get through those artillery pieces. Over here Hoffman is finally getting repelled. He bought us a lot of time though. And it looks like we might slowly but surely getting back to our objective. Let's get our artillery line to work. Penrose is coming up again. Let's now order all of our guns to target this unit. And looks like the majority of the enemy forces has shifted to our north. We are driving away those forces. Finally some success stories. Let's get the boys forward. Let's get these boys forward and recapture our objective. Maybe we are now able to drive the enemy into the river. Hexamer, I want you to help Hoffman in the hunt of those guns. Hoffman, you need to get through Darden. Open fire though. Morale is terrible. Garfield and his skirmishers need to finish off those guns so that they cannot shell our rear. And I am quite convinced that we are going to win this. But the question is, of course, at what cost? We are now securing our objective. Very good. Let's get Braxton forward. Let's get Wagner forward. Let's get River forward over here. We are extending the enemy lines to a point where they're hopefully unable to reinforce them. And it looks like we have dealt with those artillery pieces. Let's get these guys over here. Luckily we are able to drive away a few enemy units, but we need to replace Price with Meade. Price took over 1,000 casualties. And there's just not much that he can do effectively. Cobb and Burnside, are you able to push up and stop the enemy from retreating? Well, it doesn't look like there is an enemy unit. I'm still going to commit Cobb. Or not, as we have just officially achieved victory. At the beginning of the battle we had over 82,000 soldiers and 270 artillery pieces, but unfortunately we have lost over 22,800 of our infantry and 52 of our guns. And I'm confidently saying that many of those casualties were at the second day and were only caused because we didn't have the space to actually set up our units right. On the Confederate side, they had over 74,200 infantry, 1,900 cavalry and 204 guns. And we were able to inflict over 35,000 losses amongst their infantry and kill 221 of their cavalrymen, and we also destroyed 34 of their guns. All of our goals have been achieved. And the best unit on the battlefield was Heinzelmann with over 2,200 kills, followed by Starhell with 1,600 and Caldwell with 1,200. And if we take a look at the losses, we can see that Price suffered the most with over 1,000 killed, followed by Jones, who lost over 980 of his men, and then comes Sherman with over 933 casualties. Within our officer corps, we mourn the loss of Major Generals Alex McHenry and Ryan Sill, who were killed in action. And we also have many wounded officers, but also once again a lot of promotions. And if you take a look at the captured goods, you can first of all see that we were able to rescue 149 of our farmers and 420 of our remote farmers, and we also got 7 of our 12-pounder howitzers back, and the same goes for 4 6-pounder field guns and 8 10-pounder ordnances. We also captured over 520 Shafts Model 1855, 3 6-pounder field guns, 5 10-pounder ordnances, over 5,100 Harper's Ferry M1855 and 1,500 Pattern 1853 Enfield. Last but not least, we also got 43 Thordorfs. And at the end of the battle, we have received 2 more career points as well as 20 reputation, $250,000 and 13,800 recruits. Let's hope that with the soldiers we are able to rescue, thanks to our high knowledge in medicine, we are somewhat able to refill our losses, because once again we have suffered more losses than we have received in replacements. Our first corps has definitely seen better days, especially Price's brigade, who is down to 970 soldiers. And in our second corps we have also suffered a huge amount of casualties. Especially our artillery was beaten up, but the most casualties were most likely sustained in our third corps. We can see multiple brigades who are now down to 1,200 soldiers. And their artillery has also suffered the most in the fighting. But at least we came out on top in this battle, and we are still able to fight another day. Next episode we are going to raid the enemy supply lines, but this has to be it for now. I thank you all for watching and hope that you have enjoyed this episode. And until we meet again, I wish you all a great time.